Hey guys, how's it going? Astrofeminist here, back with another foodie beauty video. So today we're going to talk about something a little sensitive, so big trigger warning if you are sensitive to topics of self-unaliving. Please feel free to skip this video. I won't judge you at all. No one's going to judge you for it. We need to stay positive and preserve our good energy out here in these days and times. But we are going to be talking about the little mama situation because while I was on kind of a staycation, and unfortunately I had COVID the whole time, but in a way it was good because I was at my parents' house, so I could kind of have people around to take care of me like I'm a little child again. I was able to catch up on something that recently tragically happened. There was a VIB of Chantal's that was named Little Mama, and she had like 5 kids or so, and tragically she decided to end her life the other week. Now, I feel like if anything, this is kind of a controversial statement nowadays, especially when it comes to parents, and I think that, obviously it is a gray area, but in my opinion, in general, self-unaliving is not a selfish thing to do. As somebody who's had very lasting periods of my life where I have had those ideations, I empathize with anybody who's going through that, because it's not an easy thing to think about yourself every day, because at least for me, I'd wake up and I'd be like, the thoughts would just be there, and it's really just a pervasive thing. Now, for context, I feel like I have enough to comment on this, especially like I said with my viewpoint as somebody who's very much wanted to do that. I've never attempted it. I have physically harmed myself in the past. Not recently, thankfully, because I have medication and a ESA, and I'm in a pretty good place in my life compared to where I used to be. But I've never attempted any self-unaliving things. But like I said, it was very much ideation all the time for several months on end at a time in my life, from ages of about 16 through 18, which I know 2 years, it's becoming a shorter and shorter point in my life, but it's, at the time, it's a very, very long time, especially when you're a teenager, because, my God, I felt like I was never gonna be able to get out of high school and have a better life for myself, but here I am, and here we are, and, if you're feeling down lately, I just want you to know that you are appreciated. The viewpoints on this topic that she does, she kind of makes it all about her, and makes it sound like it was just, girl world hater nation coming to bully this woman, you know, and that kind of drove her to the edge, which maybe it could be a contributing factor, yes, but for context, this woman also did have possibly PTSD, and also she had a 3-month-old, so postpartum depression definitely could have been a thing, was likely a much bigger factor in this situation. But the way that Chantal talks about it is just absolutely disgusting, in my opinion, because she kind of turns around and makes it about her. But I just want to say that I hope that Little Mama's family is grieving in the way that they need to. I've also seen a lot of rhetoric about, kind of going along with the whole it was her bullying, getting bullied online. If you're going to kind of come online and be online, you kind of do need to be aware of the fact that you are open to criticism and potential bullying. I don't think that what happened in this situation was bullying, but, I feel like most adults can realize, yeah, this is gonna impact my mental health in a bad way if, I'm not a super hit right away and have a really good audience right away. And, so Chantal just kind of, made it about her and her community and try to spin it in a way that it was not meant to be spun. Also, kind of the fact that, it does kind of make me sad whenever people call people selfish when they, self-unalive, because, yeah, I understand it's much more of a gray area because she's a mother. I am sad that she didn't feel like she could reach out for more help in this life, and that she really just needed to go on to the next one, which is extremely unfortunate. But I think going around and calling people selfish, especially as recently as I was seeing that, is just kind of distasteful. I do understand that there are people out there who have had people in their lives unalive themselves, myself included. I had a friend in high school who, early sophomore year of high school, her mother did that, and it was a shockwave to the community because she was kind of like one of those room moms that, would host birthday parties and, would come in on like Halloween and help people with their costumes for the Halloween parade that we had at my school. And so it was really, really distraught for our entire grade. And this is a girl that had been in my school. It was a small school, and she had been there since like first grade. So this was like 8 years that we had known this woman as like collective, as a grade for most of us, and it was just really tragic. But I don't think calling that person selfish, especially as recently, especially, people who don't know her and don't know her exact situation, it's just kind of distasteful to me. I know that's a controversial opinion. That's just kind of how I view it, because, if I had those kind of thoughts and I didn't do it, it's kind of like, how long had she gone on with this? What kind of mental state was she in that she actually did this and she had kids, because normally that's a big pull for people not to do that. So it's, everybody's an individual. Yeah, I just kind of want to preface all of that. Like 5 minutes into this video, and we haven't even talked about Chantal, but I'm just going to skip around this hour or so live stream. So yeah, really wouldn't want to watch an hour of Chantal right now. Also, as of recording this, she is back in Canada and has gotten high as a kite repeatedly. So that's just where we're at right now. But anyway, let's just jump right into this live stream. It's called Girl World is a Hate Mob, which, she really is so ignorant to the world around her, because, like, as someone from America, like, literally, we still have, like, hate mobs. Like, literally, the biggest threat to our national security is domestic terrorism at this point, and she's calling this little thing on the internet where we criticize people a hate mob. I know there's people that take it too far, but, we call that out as we see it. But yeah, just inflammatory language, as always, from our attention seeker. Which, by the way, for those who don't know, Chantal did try basically for attention-seeking purposes, which really sucks because it just puts a bad name on anybody else who self-harms or commits unaliving themselves. Chantal did, do that kind of stuff for attention as a teenager, and just kind of blows it off as, oh, well, every teenager does stuff like that. Girl, no, they do not. No, they do not. Yeah, and as somebody who had those genuine thoughts at the age that she did this, it really, oh my god, it makes my blood boil. Anyway, let's get right into it.
So how is the same? So I put a community post. Tell me where I'm a hypocrite, or literally that's deflecting. Like, how is it the same? Taking something that Salah said 3 months ago, pretty much as a joke. Number one, seriously, just like kill yourself, okay? Number one, he says that's said all the time in the gaming world where he's from. Is it wrong? Yeah, whatever.
Okay, time for me to comment already, because as somebody who is a gamer, unfortunately, that is an occurrence in the gaming world, but the people who do that are extremely toxic and are kind of a joke in the gaming community. Yeah, maybe like 10 years ago on like Call of Duty that was okay, but like we were kind of realizing that saying that to people nowadays, it's a lot bigger of a deal than we thought it was, Please do not generalize the entire gaming community as a place where people just say KYS all the time. Because, yeah, it does happen, but those people, luckily I can sort of laugh that off, but, like, that's a serious comment to make to somebody nowadays. It's kind of unfortunate that it was a huge joke for a while, and then there was, like, Gamergate, where that one lady, like, I think went to court because somebody said they were going to stalk her and do things to her without her consent, and, yeah, she kind of took it, like, it didn't need to go to court, but it's like, people shouldn't be saying that stuff anyway, but at the same time, it's the internet. But at the same time, you shouldn't say that stuff. So please don't generalize my whole community as this place where people are saying that, because it's not accepted and you can get reported for that, and it's not tolerated nearly as much as it used to be. Maybe it's more typical in the Middle East where they're a little more conservative over there, but over here in the States, and probably in Canada too, and probably in a lot of places in Europe, like, we don't deal with that. We don't put up with that stuff anymore as much as it used to be.
Okay, it's wrong to say that, but it's not as if people are just going to go and start jumping off the bridge because he said that. What they did is not the same at all. All right, he made that one comment once only. What they did was target people.
So you mean he got caught saying that one time? Just so we're clear, because that's kind of what the context is we're dealing with here. Is that he got caught saying that once? Because if he said that in public, he's probably said it in private 1,000 times, right? Just saying.
Over and over and over and over and over. The proof is go to their channel, go to the Twitters, go to the Kiwi Farms. So where do I partake in Kiwi Farms? Do I have a membership there? No. Do I have any videos that are about anyone else? No.
Okay, so she does end up saying that she doesn't have any up now, but she's definitely made videos about people in the past. Like, she went on that tirade against FFG, and then she went after Milk Tea, which, like, I will throw hands for Milk Tea. Milk Tea's out here just calling out facts and giving slight opinion, and it's, like, not even that disrespectful. Like, she's not laughing at Chantal as much as, like, say, FFG or Yaba. And she's definitely not slaying her to the ground like Charlie Gold does. Milk Tea's very, like, sort of diplomatic about how she goes about it compared to a lot of other people.
Any videos I've talked about drama have been privated. So the common theme here is that anything I've said about anybody.
See, but the thing is that you may have privated them, but they're recorded and out here on the internet because people will accumulate evidence about you shitting on other people because you delete stuff so much.
Has been in self-defense. Is it right? No. But it's not as wrong as what they did. All right? So you want to say I bullied Ella's wife. All right, let's go there.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. So what are you going to say
We
about
played
it?
proof on stream that he initiated the bullying. So this was, again, a triggered response to him calling me a sharmuta, to him saying that camels run away from me, to him bullying me, all right? To him accusing me of stealing water from children, to him doxing his best friend and saying about his job, showing his old apartment. So yeah, I was pushed.
Honestly, Allah, you go off, fam. Apparently, the story behind this is that Salah owes Allah a lot of money, and he's not responding to anything Allah's asking him or like texting him or calling him or whatever. So honestly, Allah, you go off, and I mean, he's just exposed what we all knew were thinking in the first place. So I mean, yeah, he might have initiated it with putting himself into the girl world, but like, yeesh.
Do you see the common theme? There you go. Not only that, but his wife then, according to Yo Mama, went on her Facebook Live and talked about me, that I'm lazy, fat, and smell. So no, responding to their hate towards me once is not bullying, all right? Talking every day, making fun of my religion, making fun of my new Muslim name, saying I have a fake marriage, saying I smell like...
Okay, first of all, you've admitted that you smell like ricotta and fish, so check mark there. Second of all, you kind of hinted that the marriage wasn't real at some point. I forget exactly what she said. Third of all, you know, a lot of people, like, she took her... Was this before or after she took her Shahada? I think this was, like, right after, because she did it a couple days before she left Kuwait. You may, on paper, be Muslim because you took your Shahada, but that's like the first pillar out of what, 7, 9, 12 pillars of Islam. You're a seventh of the way there. I understand that people can get very psyched up when they first start a new religion. I know that, especially with my ADHD hyperfixation thing, when I first started doing pagan stuff, I was like, oh yeah. You know, I was like really territorial over it, but if I could go back 2 years and tell myself, hey girl, just keep working on it, I would, because you can always kind of work with a religion better, because it's sort of like self-therapy and self-analysis in comparison to the world around you. At least that's how I view it, and your deities and whatever you do. You know, right when she got back to Canada, she indulged herself in haram foods, you know, took the gummies, all that stuff, so she obviously hadn't had as much of a mind shift when she was in Kuwait as she thought she had. But anyway, really unaware of the situation at hand.
like blue cheese, saying I'm fat, calling me chins every day.
You are fat. You are literally the definition of morbidly obese. Literally. You are rotund and round. Like, come on.
That's bullying. Targeting little mama over and over for her defending me, for her speaking out against these pieces of crap, vile people, is bullying. Pushing someone...
Also, as somebody who got bullied for like straight up a decade of their life, I would not call people literally reacting to what you openly put on the internet as bullying. Yeah, like I said, there's always outliers and that people go too far and whatnot, but I would not call it bullying necessarily. I would call it repeated critiquing. Like, when I got bullied, I was just like straight vibing as the quiet kid in like 3rd grade, and then these people decided to pick on me, and then I was like turned into the runt of my friend group, and people would interrupt me or speak over me a ton, so I actually spoke really fast and loud for a good point in my life, until I realized, oh hey, people like aren't gonna be like pieces of crap to me and let me speak what I have to say. So, no, I would not call people reacting to what you do on the internet bullying, because if that were true, then literally anybody who got like any amount of hate comments on the internet would be considered bullied, and I do not think that's accurate. Because here's the thing, I couldn't get away from my bullying in, elementary, middle, high school, because I had to go to school every day for 5 days a week. You can. You can just get off the internet, or you can change your appearance on the internet and blah, 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 and your situation will get better. I was just existing and getting harassed by people at my school. I couldn't really change that. So, bullying is not simply this black and white thing you think it is.
With mental illness to take their life is bullying. Where have I done that?
Okay, unless we prove in a court of law that Girl World is directly responsible for this woman self-unaliving, like she wrote a letter or something, you can't say that. Like, that's the kind of defamation. Like, she's lucky it's not directed directly at one person, because that's like straight up defamation right there. Again, this is a very sensitive topic, but I think it's much more likely that her postpartum depression played a much bigger role. And again, like I've said, if it was too much for her, she could walk away. If she was a mature adult, she would walk away. Where no one's holding a gun to her head and forcing her to defend you.
Where? So you better sit down, FFG, with your hypocrisy, all right? Because you're the biggest hypocrite probably in the entire world that I know in my life. Yeah, as you're betting yourself, exactly. So there you go. All right. The common theme is I defend myself. I don't proactively create 3 channels, 6, 3. You probably do have 6, actually 4 with your Twitch, targeting one person, making fun of them in an Islamophobic, racist manner.
Racist, meh. She could, not call Salah salad, because people of color having the names mispronounced is like a joke or whatever. Because white people who can say Oppenheimer can't say Salah for some reason. It's a whole thing. That I will say that. Islamophobic, nah. I will say that much. If anything, she's just calling you out on being a bad Muslim, which I'm sure Salah's parents would love to do that, seeing as they are, I think Salah's dad is a professor at a very high-ranking university. Not quite sure of the country, but I know he's a very high-up man in society and would love to just ream you in private about how horrible of a Muslim you're actually being, because, you could make a whole list of the things that she's done that are haram so far, even after, in the short period of time that she's taken her shahada. So, calling somebody out on like basic sinning in their religion isn't necessarily being phobic of that religion. Like, if I were to, want to be Islamophobic, I could be like, oh, well, Chantal's so big, if she snuck a bomb on that plane, it's not like anybody would notice, because that's Islamophobic, because the stereotype is that, after 9/11, it's sort of the stereotype that Islamic peoples are, suicide bombers. That would be an Islamophobic comment. I don't think anything that FFG has said is directly Islamophobic.
Calling their husband salad over and over and over. I don't do
Like I said, I will give her that one, especially after Charlie Gold explained it in one of her videos. I was like, okay, I understand. Anyway.
Any of that. Period. Seriously. Oh, I bullied Milk Tea? Again, the common thread here. Reacting to their hate towards me and my husband. She snidely sat there and said, I said, well, you didn't bother to wear a nice wig? I didn't make fun of her being bald. I don't know what she has under that wig. How do I know? She could be wearing it with hair. What I said was, she said first, really, Salah, you're going to wear that costume? You're going to wear that on your wedding day? So I said, really, you're going to wear that wig and make this reaction? So, direct response. Again, comment.
See, but here's the thing. If you did that, if the tables were turned, then you would consider that bullying. It's just kind of like hypocrisy and like not reading the room right. And I'm pretty... Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the reason Milk Tea wears wigs is because she has alopecia or trichotillomania, and therefore Chantal would be like medical condition shaming Milk Tea for needing to wear wigs? Just saying.
FFG asked her viewers to be respectful today. Oh. In the next breath.
Why are you being sarcastic about that? That's a genuine thing that I believe she would do. I've been sourcely looking at this content because I've been at my parents' place, and also just watching Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul instead of watching all of this, because I don't know why. It's just such good shows. Why are you tiny violining and sarcastically saying all to FFG saying that her viewers should be respectful? Like, if anything, you should be thankful for that because it was one of your fans that passed. It's sort of like, after Amber got diagnosed with cancer way back, although I don't think she ever was technically thankful for this, but, everyone kind of backed off because that's what you do when morbid things like this come up, is you're respectful. Like today, I drove back to my house today from my parents and I was kind of annoyed because I was like, why is this traffic in the right lane going so slow? Like below the speed limit slow. And then I realized I saw that all the flashers on and I was like, oh, that's a funeral. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna zip by them at the speed that I want to go. I'm going to slowly pass them out of respect. Especially because when I got up to the hearse, there was a flag over the coffin, meaning that was a vet. And as much as I hate the military industrial complex, I do respect individual veterans because they are doing an extremely brave service for this country as individuals. So, yeah, that's kind of just what you do, Chantal. I don't know what the sarcasm is about.
Pays your bills. I could never be jealous of your hate money. Never. In a million years. She is Islamophobic and racist, 100%. And if you don't call it that, you're crazy. And you're just like her.
I don't think FFG is Islamophobic and overtly racist. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the whole her calling Salah salad thing, but I don't think that FFG is a hateful person like that. Like, I'll say this again and again every freaking Foodie Beauty video I do, but I literally could not watch reactions of Foodie Beauty because the energy that this woman gave off made me nauseous. Like, actually made me nauseous. And normally when I get a gut reaction from this, from something like that, I'm right. It might take, a couple years, couple months, whatever. I always end up right 99.9% of the time. It's sort of like that thing where it's like, oh, if this happened, I'd have two nickels and I wasn't expecting that, but it's weird that it happened twice. Like that's my reaction with my gut reactions to people. I'm very cued in to people pretty much immediately. Like if I'm wary of somebody, I do end up being right. And that is exactly what happened with Foodie Beauty. I got into Girl World fall of 2019. Charlie was one of my first reactors. And then I think I found Young Dumb Honey Bun, Zachary Michael, Michael B. Petty. And for some reason, I could not watch Chantal without getting, like, nauseous. Like, I was disgusted at the energy coming through my computer screen. And lo and behold, that fall, Charlie Cole, that whole thing happened. And I was like, oh, that's why I couldn't stand the presence of this woman as an energy in my life is because she's literally racist and she's continued to prove my point. Like she's checked off every bigot box in the book to the point where I kind of want to make a video where I play clips of stuff that she says and then like Fox News clips of the same thing because she would like she can deny this to the roof, but I swear to God, I feel like she would be one of those like underground MAGA voters if she lived in the United States. I swear to God, I don't know what it is. She just gives off that energy. Like I think it's probably because she would be like internally misogynistic against like Hillary Clinton or something and that's how it would start and Kamala Harris, but like I swear to God, I think she'd be a Trump voter in the United States. And I want to make that video. I have that in the back of my brain to make that video of like Chantal versus right-wing America media and just the things that she says cuz she's been homophobic, transphobic, racist, sexist, all this stuff. Like the math is mathing too well for me. I don't like it. Well, I'm not gonna say I don't like it, but it just makes too much sense. So.
And sadly, a lot of people are like her, as you can see from her audience. So have I raged? Like seriously gonna bring up, what did they bring up? Oh, the pumped up kicks. Clearly, twisting that again.
Girl, you literally were shitting on America for our gun policies right after a shooting where 21 elementary school kids, well, I think two of them were teachers. So like 19 elementary school kids got shot and killed by one of the most destructive weapons on the market. And then you proceeded to play Pumped Up Kicks, which is a whole metaphorical song about school shootings. How are you justifying that right now? Nobody twisted that. That was all you, and that it was disgusting. I literally, after that, I was like, I do not want to hear jack shit on Chantal's opinions on America anymore because she is not justified. You cannot say that.
Um, where it's like, I was targeting the gun laws because I was upset and cried for the children. that were victims in that tragedy. But no, people twisted it to fit their narrative as usual that I was targeting the children. Like, give me a break. Anyway,
No one thinks that you were targeting the children, and yeah, you cried, but then you started dancing once you played that song. It's just the whole thing was in really disgusting taste because you proceeded to dance to a song about a school shooting after one of the worst ones in our history had just happened. Again, I don't understand how you're able to justify that. Like I feel like she almost knows that it's wrong, but she doesn't want to admit it. Like I just don't, yeah, like how? Like you're the one doing the mental gymnastics and twisting stuff in order to make yourself look better.
anyways, the more you point out people who are their evil deeds, they try to turn it around on you. That's deflection. That's bull 101. It's disgusting. And somebody tragically lost their life because of this toxic environment. And instead of looking at it and like, hey, yeah, maybe we should look at this, you try to turn it around on other people again. It's really disgusting.
This is probably going to be my last bit because this is already getting to be a long recording, and I'm only 14 minutes into this hour and 13-minute stream. But while we could turn inward and say that, I feel like getting that kind of criticism and whatnot is just a part of being on the internet. Unfortunately, maybe back in the early 90s or like mid late 90s or whatever, when not a lot of people were on the internet, and the people who were on it really just wanted to like have a good time. Now that it's so accessible, it's sort of like, I hate to say it like this because it kind of seems like I don't want people of all classes to have the internet, which is not true. It's just that when you make something more accessible to the general public, the more likely there will be bad apples in the bunch, right? Like airline travel used to be this extravagant thing where it'd be like, a dozen people on a plane, you get full blown meals, and everyone acted really classy, and kind of same with the movie theaters. But as it became more accessible, you kind of get people who think they can do whatever they want, and that it's not, this important advancement of society that we need to treat with respect kind of thing. So yeah, unfortunately that is how the internet works nowadays, is that you kind of need to be safeguarded. And yeah, I'm not going to act like people commenting on the internet didn't have an impact on this woman's life, but statistically it's probably not what happened and the thing that pushed her over the edge. Do I think she deserves it? No. I think that people who support Chantal, I think those people deserve a genuine conversation because, as we've seen over the past what is going to be a couple of years in a few months, which is just wild to think about, Chantal can push people away pretty easily. And so I think having genuine conversations with her viewers is a good thing because they're much more likely to, turn away from her. But trying to have this conversation with Chantal in a genuine manner, it's just kind of pointless because this is her as a person, and she's not open to criticism really at all. And so, that's kind of why a lot of people have gotten over the trying to be nice route, which I'm still trying to be nice, but at the same time, girl, you really push me sometimes. You really do. Because you think you're just the best thing on planet Earth, and let me tell you, oh, woo! Bottom tier. Like, the whole I'm more attractive than 90% of YouTube. You should flip that around because the truth is that 90% of YouTube is more attractive than you. Flex, myself included. But yeah. So, like I said, this is getting kind of long, so I'm going to wrap it up. As we can see, Chantal is just making this whole thing about herself and trying to pull a lot of the attention to herself since this is one of her former viewers, which is not what needs to happen right now. I think spitting vitriol at anybody who's, and accusing people of causing someone to unalive themselves when it's not the most warranted thing is never going to be productive. Again, I kind of pull it back to the whole being sarcastic over Foodie Beauty, asking her audience to be respectful, like, and you being sarcastic about that, like, why? Like, that's really odd to me that she said it like that, because it's like, wouldn't you want people to be respectful of that? But I guess, I don't know, in her mind it's too little too late, which in a few ways it is, because unfortunately someone did move on from this life of their own choosing, which is in a lot of ways never a good thing, because some children did lose their mother, and that's tragic. And a husband lost his wife, and somebody lost their daughter and sister and whatnot. So that's really what we need to be focusing on right now. And instead, Chantal's dragging it back to herself and trying to make other people look bad instead of maybe turning inward and saying, why did this person feel the need to defend me? And maybe thinking about how she may have played a part in this. And it's just it's attention seeking behavior, as my mother would say it would. I feel like, in a way, this just kind of proves how narcissistic Chantal can be, because if she actually cared, then she would, you know, make a community post and say, okay, we're having a day of mourning and we'll talk about it tomorrow, because the emotions are obviously running high right now. Baggage Chantal's emotions are more like, see, you people are so mean, instead of, having a genuine conversation about mental health and whatnot, because, like I said, little mama suffered from postpartum depression and PTSD, and, Chantal, and there is a GoFundMe up to help fund the funeral. I think I don't remember what it's specifically for, but I'm assuming it's to fund the funeral. And Chantal donated $50, but she kind of made sure that the message said that it was from her. So more attention grabbing. And then I feel like if she really cared, she would give, this $100 super chat that's down here. Gods, know that you are a good person. Ooh, yikes, I guess. Don't really agree with that, but yeah, Chantal would give all of this money from this stream to that GoFundMe as well. But so she's gonna hoard it because she's horrible at budgeting and taking a stupid expensive flight back, which now is apparently 4 planes she's been on in the past couple of months where she has had nobody sit next to her, which is a bunch of hot garbage because planes are absolutely packed right now because of things like staffing shortages and people wanting to travel again. So kind of draw a conclusion that she is buying a separate seat or a second seat. And she apparently had a bankruptcy hearing yesterday, last couple days of January. But yeah, she's just kind of turning this and making it about her, which is incredibly selfish in my. That's the selfish thing in my opinion, is you're using this woman's tragedy, a family's tragedy, to try and shield yourself almost and say, it was due to this thing that you guys do to me all the time, implying that we shouldn't critique you anymore or react to you anymore, which, it's kind of like, well, you don't hear Kim Kardashian saying that about TMZ, so it's like, whatever. Or like reaction communities are kind of like the gossip mags of the internet, so it's like, you want to be a celebrity, this is kind of what you have to deal with. Anyway, so yeah, that's the end of my video. Again, kind of unfortunate circumstances, but like I said, as somebody who understands a lot of the context, I felt the need to speak out against the crap that Chantal is spinning this into post that thing. But anyway, with the most genuine heart of hearts I can muster, I really hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, whatever you're having, and please remember that you are worth the space you take up in this world. Bye.